Hello, I'm Jay. That's Seaway. Let's get started. How you doing, girl?
Hey.
How you feeling today? This fine Tuesday. That's what day we record, y'all. I feel like I need to say that because sometimes people will be in the comments like, things have updated, but we record a couple of days early.
Yeah, we probably actually, let me not add anything else to my plate. Look, finally catching up, finally getting back to some of my day job work after All-Star, where we had a time.
We did have a time. How's your running going? How's your training?
I did do a long run this morning. I did not do 13 miles because work and my body told me 9 was good. And so I did 9, and I still have time to kind of catch up. Runna app, no free promo Runna, but I'm using them, and they kind of adjusted my schedule, and I still have plenty of time to get up there, so I'm all good with it.
Well, that's good. I'm very proud of you. We got to figure out how to fit your run into this weekend coming up, but we'll get to that. But let's start with the cutting room floor. Yeah, it was a very, very busy weekend for the WNBA. They came to our city. So some people had some things to say about the food service here. But understand that some of our Black-owned restaurants are newly established. They are small. So I'm not about to hate on people still getting their things together. But the city of Chicago hosted WNBA, and you had a time, friend, this weekend. I want you to break down for the people what you got into.
Yeah, I got into so much. I think Thursday was probably my favorite day. I got a chance to do some brand stuff with Coach, and shout out to Coach, love them down. They really kicked off my weekend right. So glad to be just a part of their family. And then after that, I headed over to the Drip Social event where I saw Jay. Okay. So wait, so before I keep going. So what did you get into before we both met up at Drip Social?
I went to the National Association of Black Journalists event. It was a great time. It was very vibey. We were having rooftop vibes. We had black catered food from a Black caterer. We had drinks. And I got a chance to meet a lot of other journalists. So some folks from WBBM, some folks from CBS, NBC. We was up there having a good time, girl.
I love that. I'm sad I didn't get a chance to connect with you guys there, but I know you held it down. You got some connections, and hopefully we can do more with them. And then, so you left there, connected with a lot of people. We both met up at Drip Social, and they showed us love all weekend. We actually started with them on Wednesday. And then, on Thursday, it was a great event. Cheryl Swoops, the legend, came in, and we got a really good performance from a W player. It was just such a vibe. It was. Such a vibe.
I have to confess though, friend, I think my favorite event was the event on Friday. And I think it's because our girl Seaway had put on her hosting boots and let the people know who you introduced on Friday.
Yeah, so I had to keep it a secret for a little bit, but I had the honor, the pleasure, the privilege of introducing our girl Angel Reese at her VIP Barbie event. And I just want to say TOGETHXR and Angel's team, which is, they just did a phenomenal job to see the kids of the Boys and Girls Club there asking Angel questions. And it was just so cute. And I just loved it. So the fact that I got a chance to introduce Angel was a blessing. And to see the kids interviewing her was so sweet. That girl have a Barbie. The shoes, the Barbie inspired Angel Reese ones that we all left with, and so can't wait to add those to my collection. So yeah, it was great. It was great.
It was so cute to see her interacting with the kids, and then she flew out a little girl and her mom from Atlanta. to have an incredible All-Star Weekend. They got All-Star tickets. They got to sightsee. They got to be on the orange carpet, and she got to meet other players. It just seemed like such an awesome experience. And how she was interacting with Angel, it literally looked like she was her big sister.
Yeah, she was like, "You're famous, but you're my big sis."
She was like, they were hugged up together. I was like, this is the sweetest thing in the world.
I loved it.
It was really, really dope. And I definitely think Together did a great job all weekend. Together House was so well put together.
Yeah.
It was a really nice experience for the fans because I believe for the most part it was a free event for fans, like outside of the Angel Reese thing. And as you guys know, or maybe you don't, they have WNBA Live, which also has a lot of activations, but fans do have to pay for that. So it's always cool to see events and activations that are available for people who might not be able to afford those tickets. And I just love that there's that variety for fans.
Especially when All-Star costs so much money already. So let's get into the pros and cons. I think the pros of All-Star this year, and where I would say if you're going to All-Star next year, depending on which W team is hosting, because word on the curb is that no teams want to host because it's expensive and it's a lot to do, and they don't want to do it. But wherever it is, I definitely say if you're coming to All-Star, and even if you can't make the game or both games, the All-Star is really not just about the games. The games almost are a side note. Places like the Together House, Unrivaled always does free activations. I heard nothing but good things about Unrivaled's like coffee barista with the players. I heard that was great. And then Together House, 12 to 5, you can experience so much in there. It was so much to do in there. And a lot of the podcasts were first come, first serve, pulling up on those. TP and Sid did theirs, and there were so many podcasts that you can watch. And so that was definitely the pros. The cons, the cons of All-Star this year is a blessing and a curse with it being in Chicago, and a blessing and a curse with more money in the league. And I'm against both. Chicago is a phenomenal city. It's one of the best cities in the world. And in the summertime, it is the best place in the world. But because of that, I think there was so much going on in the city. It was Gospel Fest. It was this fest, Wicker Park Fest, this going on, Soldier Field, baseball games. And so the All-Star game in Chicago is not the main character. It's not going to be the birthday. And so in a city like Chicago, if you think All-Star is going to be the birthday in the summer, it wasn't. And also because of that, things were so spread out. And that goes to my other point about the more money, more brands. Because there's so many money and brands now in the W post CBA, I just feel like there was things going on all over the place. And a lot of the feedback I got is that we were pulled in a lot of different directions. Yeah. And there was a lot of events that you wanted to go to, but even if they're at different times, they were so far away. And so, those are my two cons.
I agree with you because we had a lot of back-to-back events. Yeah. And we had to leave early and be late to one.
Right.
So you're definitely missing out on some of the engagement that goes along with that. But the other part of that is I think that's kind of on the organizers because given Chicago is such a big city, but they announced this so far ahead of time that the WNBA clearly could have given parameters. This is where the events are going to be held. It would be nice if everything is in this particular neighborhood, i.e. a Fulton Market that has the capacity to host a lot of different events and a lot of different places, open warehouses, clubs, bars, restaurants, all types of places where things can be hosted. And then you do have people who are local. For instance, we went to JB Pritzker's activation, and that particular one was on purpose on the South Side in Pilsen in a Mexican neighborhood. So some places obviously were very purposeful, but if you're not from here, unless you're sending an advance team, you really don't know where you should be, where everybody else is, what space there is available. And I think that I think that All-Star worked really well in a city like Indianapolis because it's not as spread out. They don't have as much space to do things. So things generally have to be centralized. So I would love to see one of these expansion teams take it. I can definitely see it being like a Toronto situation, or being in Portland. I think that might be where they go next.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Portland is going to be hard for some people to get to, and maybe Toronto would have a similar issue. But yeah, so I definitely think the smaller, why some people may have said this is the best All-Star ever. There's other people who may have preferred the more like summer camp feel of Indy. I went to both All-Stars and they both were good for different reasons. I personally feel like this All-Star was like leveled up for me just in my personal just experience and what I kind of got out of it. But I can see see both sides. So that feedback is definitely there. But yeah, so we had a great time.
Yeah. I had a time, you had a time, we had a time. A time was had.
Agreed.
Moving on to the WNBA trade deadline. There is so much going on. I'm used to in baseball, they say who's buyers and sellers coming to the trade deadline. So my question for you is, what teams do you think are going to be buyers and what teams do you think are going to be sellers?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of teams that need to be sellers. First up is I think the Sparks at this time need to be sellers because I think they have a mixed match in timelines. They have future Hall of Famers like Nneka Ogwumike and to me Kelsey Plum, right, on their roster. And then they have great vets as well, like De'Arca Hamby, and even Ariel Atkins is on there. Isn't Wheeler there on the team too? Yeah, and Wheeler. They have a lot of vets, but then they have young players like Ray Burrell and Cam, and then they got rid of Rickea Jackson, and it just seems like they have a major mix match in timeline. Yeah. They have players that in these final years of their career, I'm sure they want to be either winning or in a very solid dynamic, and then they have young players who are still looking to find their way. And to me, with teams like that, you're going to have to, I feel like only Dallas is kind of like threading the line there. But mostly the other teams, like you're going to have to pick which stage are you in. And so with the recent reports of Kelsey Plum stating that she will not be re-signing with the Sparks, I would be interested to see if she moves because she's on an expiring contract. Yep. And if she doesn't, then she's going to definitely...
That's a good rental.
Yeah. And then other teams that are sellers who are still trying to win, I definitely feel like the Dallas Wings and the New York Liberty are sellers, but not in the way the Sparks are. I think they have an abundance of pieces that they're not using. Like Alana Smith in Dallas is not really being used, mostly due to her injuries. And I just think they have too many pieces in Dallas. It's becoming it's subtraction by addition over there. And then you have Betnijah Laney Hamilton, to me, who's a dog, who really could be that extra piece on a great team. Think of Atlanta, for example. And there's other teams where Betnijah could be playing. And then you have the traditional seller, the Connecticut Sun. The Connecticut Sun have an abundance of pieces. I think some of those pieces, now that the Connecticut Sun were forced to sell to Houston, I think Houston's going to have a lot of hands on who they want and who they don't want sold off. And so that may make it interesting. But to hear that teams were looking for post players from the Connecticut Sun and there wasn't a big reception for that so far per reports, I'm confused by that because why wouldn't you come off of Nice? Why wouldn't you come off of Aaliyah Edwards? Why are they holding on to them?
Because I think that they're in the Hannah Hidalgo Olympics. And that's a type of team that if you put a Hannah Hidalgo type player on that team, they instantly become a problem. Having a facilitator
and an age range altogether.
I think that that's what you have here. So I think the Sparks are going, I'm with you on them being sellers, because I think they are in the Juju Olympics coming in 2028. Because Juju, her red shirt was accepted, so she'll have another couple of seasons. She's making that good NIL money. Is not that NIL money is still better than what this rookie contract is going to be. Yeah. So I see her staying for her 2 years, and I can see the Sparks wanting that hometown girl to anchor that team. I think that the Sparks, if the Sparks are sellers, I also think they're gonna have to get a new coach.
Yeah, that's probably no shade.
So that we'll see how that works. But I 100% think that the Sun want that first Houston season to be something. And I think, and we know how it works. We know how the balls bounce in the NBA. They be getting some teams get a little help with that. So I could definitely see that happening with the Suns. How do you feel about the Mystics?
I think the Mystics, if they're anything, they're buyers. I think they could probably upgrade their point guard situation. But right now, I wouldn't be pushed to do anything if I was the Mystics. I wouldn't be a buyer or a seller. I definitely feel like they could be doing more with the pieces that they do have and see what they can get out of Rory, who's not getting much time, what they can do with Amore. If I'm the Mystics, I'm going to hold steady. But I do think some buyers are going to be the Toronto Tempo. Sykes still doesn't have, a clear timeline for return. I know they want to be competitive and kind of plan for the future. I could see Atlanta, even though I know Atlanta is very loyal to their pieces.
But I don't know about Atlanta. I don't know. I don't know who sits. I mean, they do have space. So if they need to move somebody to a developmental contract, I believe they still have. They're done with the developmental?
No, they don't.
I don't know who. And
I don't like to do that because I'm not their GM. I don't want to wish a job not on somebody.
Yeah. I don't know. This Atlanta team to me is about clicking and gel. It's not necessarily about adding another piece. Because I think that they can, with the team that they have now, I think that they can make a run.
I think what Atlanta though is missing is a veteran player on the bench outside of Nas. Depending on who's going to move to the bench, I do think a Betnaija on Atlanta makes a huge difference. Yeah. And so and then, of course, now that Tahina is still dealing with her leg issue, Sherrod's going to get some more minutes. But that's a really young point guard backing up Jordan Canada now. You have a point guard, your DP, your developmental player, Sherrod, is now backing up your veteran point guard.
I wouldn't mind. I don't know what Wheeler's contract is, but I wouldn't mind her on this team as a backup for JC. To be honest,
I mean that would be huge. That is so you're getting what I'm saying. Yeah. That is what Atlanta is missing.
Yeah,
it's that type of player. I feel like they're that piece.
Yeah.
Away from having. That's not to say they won't be competitive, but when you're talking about anchors. Your anchors are in your bench player, your veterans on the bench that are able to really, like Alicia Clark was doing talk. Like there's players like that you may not understand what they're contributing, but their mere presence on the floor, doing what they're supposed to be doing, going where they're supposed to be going, makes a big difference. So, and then lastly, the biggest buyer to me of them all needs to be Phoenix, because what the F is going on?
I was about to say that, and I don't know if they're going to be buyers because word came out that they were trying to shop AT, and there was some conversation, but it died down. AT as an addition to any team, that
shopping AT though. I'm overwhelmed. I just don't even know what that looks like. How do you shop AT? What does that look like?
No, I don't know what she looks like in any other jersey. And we'll talk about it a little bit later, but if you've watched the WNBA documentary, DiJonai got 1 foot in retirement. She came back for that last check, but she has 1 foot in retirement. So AT really has the bandwidth to go wherever she wants. And I'm going to be honest, it's probably in her best interest to not be traded. It's probably in her best interest to look at what's going on before next season.
Yeah, I just feel like this season is going to be a bit of a wash for them. Yeah. And but AT is one of those pieces that I just feel like you don't shop. She's a piece that you build around. You get what I mean? Like, and she has a particular playing style that the team that she's going to needs to fit that. And I think some of the newer teams may work. Hell,
Toronto will for sure.
Yeah. So that's yeah. So that's what I got. I mean, then there's teams where it's like, what are you doing?
Sky not gonna do nothing.
Like, yeah. Anyway, what are we talking about next?
We're gonna talk a little bit about drama and documentaries, friend. A lot has gone on outside of the court, as far as television is concerned, television and social media. A certain player let the clip go, as they say. And another player got on her comedy spiel to I wouldn't say retaliate, but to respond. How do you feel about this NaLyssa situation?
Look, I mean, I'm gonna keep it cute. It was entertaining. It was entertaining, and I'm not trying to be entertained by their pain, but I think they put it all out here so they knew we was gonna get a key. I think they knew we were gonna get a key.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, I was entertained. I'm not above it at all. I'm not above it at all. What I will say, though, is that I think you wanted to talk about this. For everybody acting like the W is the only place that we get into it.
It's not.
Did people not just see Jason Tatum shading Jaylen Brown?
Shading Jaylen Brown. Bam, run it up on somebody. We have historic players sleeping with players' mothers.
Draymond ruined what's his face's Jordan Poole's career. He punched him out of a career. He punched him to the Wizards. And then
we're not even going to talk about random gun charges. There's at least 5 players in the middle of every summer of an NFL season that's put up on charges. That's put up on charges. That got some domestics. Let's not talk about the drama isn't there. Right? And we're not even talking about just that. Look at how many NBA players share baby mamas. Like, what are we even
what was Ime into? Ime got kicked. Come on now, cheat on Nia
DeLong.
So, don't say this is why you don't take W serious. Just say you don't want to watch the W, because first and foremost, a lot of that stuff wasn't even funny. This was actually funny. What I do want to say,
she came on with that tie, and not denying. She did not deny not a thing.
I want to speak directly to NaLyssa. NaLyssa, I have never seen somebody clear up allegations and not clear up a thing. That's number one. Number 2, the sound effects. My God, today. I'm not in their tea. But it looked like A1 gaslighting to me. I've been gaslit before. That's what he gave.
It does. It does. We're not going to speak on mental health or any of that kind of stuff. But you can absolutely still be in a healthy relationship and hate somebody. Those two things are not.
But I do get her point, though. You're not going to, usually if you're fully over it, you're not going to let them.
She might not be over it. She might not be over it, because sometimes it's hard to let that hurt go. You can be healed enough to be in a relationship, but still hate somebody's stinking guts every time you see them in the same room with you.
So I honestly, I just feel like what I wish for them both is closure. Because to me, if the mere presence of somebody being there, let's just say it happened like NaLyssa's Law and Order special, what she said it, let's just say it happened like that. If it did happen like that, then clearly folks need closure. They need to figure it out.
And sometimes all it takes is an apology. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I hope that they figure out. And for anybody saying that this is why it makes it difficult to build teams, it doesn't. Because this is not the first couple that have broken up and can't stand each other and then happen to be on the same team. They play right on through it. And they do it in high school. They do it in college. And they do it in professional leagues. Because people don't let drama get in the way of their check. Understand that.
Never that.
Never that. Not these checks. Not these new checks. Not at all. Now, friend, I did want to give a certain shout out to somebody who is on this podcast that is not me, who made a documentary. Now, her co-host asked her 4 times if she had watched the documentary. And all 4 times she said, I have been to these coach events and I am hosting Angel Reese, and I am a learned lawyer. I don't have time to sit down and watch said documentary. And then
now I'm talking to you, so I barely had time before that.
Then I get a happy text message that shows that somebody was included in ESPN's WNBA documentary that highlights the second half of last year's season, following DeWanna Bonner, Nafisa Collier, and the Queen, A'ja Wilson. Friend, how did that feel?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was on TikTok live and people were like, congrats on being in the documentary. And I'm like, oh, what'd I do? I'm thinking something bad. I'm like, what doc? What you talking about? And they ended up telling me. And then I watched that episode first. It was episode 6 with talking about Nafisa and her pulling up to the CBA negotiations. Yeah, so it was my video and I was like, Queen Fee's pulling up to the negotiations. Because I remember when she rolled through, I was like, they about to get the deal done. Fee was like, I let everybody handle it and now I'm pulling up. I'm the closer, baby. Yeah, so that's what it was. It was definitely, I definitely wish I would have got a heads up.
But now that would be nice. ESPN, you on a tightrope right now. You on a tightrope right now. You did right by my girl, but you did wrong by my guy. So you on a tightrope. It would have been nice, but I'm very proud that you are highlighted because I'm proud of you, friend. I think that you deserve your content is A+ #1, which is the reason why you were featured in the first place. And you are correct because Queen Fee pulled up and that deal got done, baby. I do want to say, if you have not watched this documentary, please watch it. It's so good. The conversation around Bam and how he supports A'ja through the season and to answer the question of how it began. Me and my homegirl Angel constantly joked on how they were so tall and so obvious, yet trying not to be. Yeah. And I just thought that part was so cute. The conversation that Fee and her husband have around having children, I think that's important to watch for those of us who are professional women and are looking at expanding our families. And I thought that it was actually really sweet to look at the dynamic. I don't even know if I would say sweet. It's just such an interesting, their relationship is sweet. Let me put it this way. DeWanna Bonner and AT have a very sweet relationship, but I think that is also very interesting because they have to have a working relationship. And that was a whole different aspect of how, as a couple, you're able to separate the office from home. Right. And how that is approached. So if you have not watched it, please do. It's great. For those of you guys who were interested in seeing what the tea was between DeWanna and the Fever, she basically said ain't no love lost. I don't have no problem with them people, which I thought was classy.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, y'all check it out. Life in the W.
Good stuff. Now, to wrap up, let's talk about what we're going to be doing this weekend. It's going to be our second weekend hanging together, friend.
Mm-hmm. Gonna be fun. So it is going to be, it's opening weekend for the WPBL. And Jay is our resident baseball girly, but I'm really excited about this inaugural season, this historic season for women playing baseball. And so lucky for us, they're kicking off in Springfield, Illinois, which is, hop, skip, and a jump away. And so we will be going down there to watch, hopefully cover, hopefully interview, hopefully talk to some of the players and really shed more light on what this inaugural season is all about. And so I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I'm excited too. I'm also excited to talk to fans, and they just announced that their first game is sold out. Their first ever game is sold out, which is beautiful for that to happen over a week before their first game. So we'll get to see all four teams play each other between Saturday and Sunday. So I'm really excited, and I'm also excited to try to learn you some baseball, friend. You're gonna learn about about shifts and cleanup hitters.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm excited.
You're gonna be a professional baseball watcher by the time we get done.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
All right, so sign us off, friend.
Well, honestly, we don't have anybody in the cut. I think this has been positive vibes.
It has been. Certain teams haven't played, so they can't sponsor the cut this week.
Yeah, but yeah, nobody's in the cut. But I just want to say I'm happy for everyone who has just found this platform. You're here listening, and I hope you continue to share and support. We got a lot of new supporters recently. And so, yeah, this is normally the time that we put somebody in the cut for being bad, naughty. But everyone has been great. We're high off the hot all-star vibes. And so make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe on all of our platforms. Bye.
Bye.
Chicago Clubhouse Network Production.